Apple's M-chip series was a blessing, not just for Mac users, but the entire laptop market. In this video, we take a closer look at why it was so important that back in 2020, Apple took the leap and released their own line of computer processors. Intel chips were dominating the market ever since laptops were a thing. Every now and then you'd see something else, but for the most part, it was Intel. Although technology was evolving at a very fast pace, laptops faced several issues. Number one downside, they had immense power consumption, which was a deal breaker, as the whole idea of a laptop is that you can use it remotely from anywhere. But if the battery life under a somewhat heavy task load only lasts for about an hour, that's a deal breaker, right? To make the system as modern looking and portable as possible, they made the design thinner and thinner. The downside to that is that there isn't much room left for heat pipes or fans to cool the system. And as the power consumption of the chips at the time was extremely high, there was a lot of heat going on in there. I own a Lenovo laptop from the year 2015. There is one metal part right above where the cooling system is. I remember when I touched that, I seriously burned my finger. I burnt my finger because I touched my laptop. It's crazy, I'm happy these times are over. But the probably biggest downside for a heavy, intense user is the performance. Generally, if you needed a computer that's capable of doing some heavy lifting, then you would go for a PC and not a portable laptop. All these points that I just mentioned were absolutely normalized. Those were just things that came with buying a laptop. And I bet if you've been an owner of a laptop from the year ever since 2020, then you've experienced at least one of these points. But even though the entire market has accepted the laptop's fate, there were people that knew that in order to move forward, something had to change. And those people were the Apple engineers. Back then, especially MacBooks were facing this problem of not being able to cool the system down because the Intel chips were just too hot. They always wanted to go for a very slick, modern, thin design where there was no room for heat pipes and fans. They only had one option. They needed a different CPU. A CPU that drew less power, but at the same time could still perform the same way or even better than the Intel chips. With the first M1 processor, they promised to get rid of all these problems. And they over-delivered. This chip paired with the MacBook Air M1 could last up to 18 hours without charging. There was no more overheating whatsoever. The MacBook M1 Air doesn't even have a fan. And all that while still being more performant than the top tier Intel laptop CPU at the time. With a starting price of just $1,000, this was an unbeatable machine. Intel was crushed. They were so stagnant all this time, relaxing because they thought, yo, there's no competition out there. And all of a sudden, there was a threat. They had to do something, and it took them quite some time to catch up. While Intel CPUs and laptops are still by far the most popular out there, the market has been steadily evolving. Not only did Intel start producing more efficient and capable CPUs for laptops, but also other manufacturers like Qualcomm with their Snapdragon X Elite jumped on the train. All this new competition on the market forces every single one of them to produce better and better chips. The result for us? We finally get portable systems that not only look good, but are as effective and performant as their PC counterparts. Not just from Apple, but all the big names in the laptop industry. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, and here on the screen is another video you're probably, according to the algorithm, very interested in. Make sure to check that out, and I will see you in the next video.